All right, it is time for me to break my silence on the Trey Hendrickson trade request. And yes, it's only been a few hours, but I didn't want to talk about it. And now I am. So here we go. Hey everyone, it is Josh Butts from No Butts About It. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, you know that I'm a huge Bengals fan, and that is one of the teams that we regularly cover on this channel. So if you're also a Bengals fan or just like hearing about the Bengals, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's talk about what everyone is thinking. Trey Hendrickson. Why did he send a trade request? Now, when I first got this notification, I thought that it was Chus and Stan messing with me because they knew that I was having a stressful day, getting prepared to go to a friend's wedding tomorrow morning. And I was like, they're just like razzing me up. And no, Trey Hendrickson has made a trade request. Super weird situation, though. I'm not really sure what Trey expects to get out of this situation, and I'm not really sure that Trey knows what he's expecting either. So, the reason I say that it's a weird situation is Trey Hendrickson just signed an extension. And he is supposed to be a Bengal through the 2025 season. He is 29 years old now, so he'll be about 31 by the end of his contract. And this year, he is expected to make about $14 million for himself as a Cincinnati Bengal. And then next year, he would make about $15 million. The problem is there are no guarantees in his contract, but that's what he signed, right? Apparently, Trey is looking for more long term security as a Cincinnati Bengal, which is a valid thing that players go after. The problem is Trey can't actually renegotiate his contract for another 3 months. And the reason I say that is because the NFL has rules about this. The NFL Section 8, A1, renegotiations and extensions says, and I'm just going to read this out off my phone. The contract of a veteran player may not be renegotiated to increase the salary to be paid to the player during the original terms of the contract for a period of 12 months after the player's most recent contract renegotiation. The first renegotiation of a veteran player contract, however, may take place at any time. Now, Trey is not on his first renegotiation of a veteran player contract. He is been in the league for a little bit. He had some time with the Saints, but he signed with the Bengals in free agency back in, I want to say 2020, 2021. And then he just renegotiated another contract extension 9 months ago. So Trey isn't even in a place where he can get more money. I mean, the Bengals can't even sit down with him and renegotiate that contract for another 3 months. So even if the Bengals wanted to renegotiate with Trey, wanted to give him more guarantees, wanted to give him something, they can't. They cannot do anything until July, around July. So that's a weird situation. So maybe it's like, okay, maybe Trey just wants out. Someone made him mad in the Bengals organization. Lou Anarumo isn't creating an offensive scheme that is going to work best for Trey. So Trey just wants out. And that would be a valid argument if Trey wasn't one of the star players on the team, had a phenomenal season last year. And then Kelsey Conway, who is a beat reporter for the Bengals for the Inquirer, tweeted, I just spoke with Trey Hendrickson's agent, Harold Lewis, about Hendrickson's trade request. Hendrickson is hopeful the Bengals reconsider and give him a long-term deal, which we just discussed they can't do until July. So okay. If not, he wishes to be traded. Trey has also considered retirement. More to come. Now, retirement has been used as a negotiation tactic before, and players will retire to get out of situations that they don't want to be in. For example, Rob Gronkowski a few years ago retired so that he couldn't be traded to the Detroit Lions. He's been very open about that. Another guy who threatened retirement, I believe, was Andrew Whitworth when he was with the Bengals. He threatened retirement back in like 2015 when he was in negotiations. And so this could just be another tactic, but also Trey is 29 years old. Maybe he is thinking about retiring for real. That's hard to know. We won't know about that until it really happens. I just think that this situation is so weird. Why would Trey Hendrickson why would Trey Hendrickson's agent, first of all, let him sign a contract and then less than a year later say you should make a trade request? I mean, Trey is coming off a great year. He almost had the sack record for last season. He is a key part of this Bengals defense. And it doesn't seem like the Bengals have upset Trey in any way from a cultural standpoint. They haven't offended him. They haven't said, "Hey, we're going to draft a guy and he's going to replace you." In That's not happening. I mean, if they draft anyone on the defensive line, it would probably be either Jazon Newton or Byron Murphy, and both of them are defensive tackles. So now Trey Hendrickson is making this request the day before the NFL draft, which T. Higgins has also made a trade request, and he apparently also said or doubled down again that he wants to be traded. But we'll see what happens during the NFL draft. But this whole thing is weird. T. Higgins, it's like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. Like, wants a long-term deal, probably won't get paid that much money, so he wants to be traded. That lines up. Trey Hendrickson, he's saying, I want more security, but you can't give me more security because I just signed an extension. So trade me. But also, I don't really want to be traded. I want to stay with Cincinnati, but I also might retire. I don't know what to think here. I don't know what is going on in Cincinnati. Why is one of the star defensive players threatening retirement? Why is he threatening to leave? Trey doesn't seem like a type of person who would sit out. I met him in person. He's a super nice guy. He's not a diva at all. So this was honestly a shocker. Very, very shocking to me. Like I said, I thought it was a prank. But we won't know what happens until it happens. I just wanted to get on here and kind of give my final thoughts, which is just kind of, it's a weird situation. It's not a good look for the Bengals. And I don't know if the Bengals can even actually do anything if they want to keep Trey. So draft night is always super chaotic. That's tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. But until then, go do something nice for someone.